We're back, people, and today we're bringing on film on Patrick McMorris, Miami Dolphins safety they took in the 6th round. This was the only player in the draft class I hadn't been able to check out pre-draft that the Dolphins had ended up taking, and now I've seen 2 games on him. I was able to find 2 games of all 22. And for me, he seemed like a 6th round pick. Didn't have like the greatest athleticism, but there was things to like about his game. He's very versatile. I think he can play in multiple different spots. Down in the box, he can man up some tight ends in the slot. I think he does some good work as split field safety. He's got good football intelligence, which is nice. So, like, football intelligence, versatile. I think his patience, he's one of the most patient players I've ever seen. Like, you're not going to hit him with, like, some double moves. Like, he's going to be in the right position. He stays square. He stays smooth in his pedal. He recognizes what's going on back there. I think the reason he fell is just he wasn't, the most explosive athlete out there. Like, I think he plays with some decent straight line speed to close, but it's probably average at best, but is always in the right spot. Knows exactly where he's supposed to be, and I don't mind it as like a 6th rounder. He can definitely, I think 6th rounders sometimes they make the roster, sometimes they don't. I think considering the safety room, he actually has a decent chance. Like, there's not really many bodies after the top 2, so he has a chance to fight for that spot and end up making it on. I'm excited to see how he looks in preseason. I just need to see more and more of him, because it's kind of hard to really judge a player completely after just 2 games. But he does a good job as a run defender. Can do some decent things in coverage. He's not going to be like a single high deep free safety at the next level overall, but very smart and just gets in the right position, which is the nice thing to see for McMorris. And apparently the scouts and like the defensive side of the ball were really clamoring for him later on in the draft, and I can definitely see something to work here with McMorris. Okay, so the 2 games I did watch ended up being the USC game and the Washington game. In coverage, split field, he can drop down, play his own underneath awareness. He knows how to leverage routes. Like Cal in cover 3 here, he goes down. He's now a curl flat option. So, he wants to get out here, maintain his leverage underneath. He identifies the crosser, but doesn't instantly go down. A lot of guys would, he stays patient though. A lot of guys would close down on this, but he knows with his leverage here, if the ball gets thrown, he can get downhill in a hurry and probably, limit that to a gain. But he maintains this leverage, maintains enough depth. Keep your eyes on the quarterback until he's going to throw it. Sees that it's throwing behind here. Is able to locate that. Now, just by not getting downhill too quickly, he maintains a really healthy relationship to really leverage multiple routes with this one and this one, so he can make a play on the deeper play down the field, because they're trying to, high-low these types of players, and McMorris does an excellent job of maintaining, a healthy relationship between those 2 options, which is nice to see as an underneath zone defender. That's something you got to be able to do. And here he is playing the run. He can definitely be a part of the run fit down in the box. There's a lot of times where he basically becomes responsible for the quarterback. You see it in the Caleb Williams game, and he's just staying patient, staying square. He constricts down, so there's not like a huge cutback lane, but he's also ready for the big bounce back. Just maintains very good patience, very good technique, and then square the person up. Good, decent size to his game. Like nothing like crazy size-wise. He's not undersized. He's not super big, but pretty normal there. Just love the good work versus the run there from McMorris. And then in coverage, I think he looks like overall more comfortable down, like either playing like off-man coverage or playing an underneath zone. Once you get further down the field, I think he can do like the split field stuff, but with post field, I don't think he has like the range and hip fluidity to play as like a deep middle center fielder type. And then he can man up versus tight ends for sure. I don't think you'll see him manning up versus like good receivers at the next level. But I think he can actually do some stuff versus tight ends, as you can see right there, covering Westover. And then here he is, patient versus the flea flicker. They're trying to get him with a double move. This guy is one of the most patient players I've ever seen. He is always like staying over the top. I like how he could fit in like a quarters or a deep half safety. Maintains a healthy relationship. They're trying to get him to come down on this, and then Odunze would blow by him, but has no chance. That route's absolutely dead. He takes that away the whole time. They end up finding Polk on the other side, but McMorris does his job, shuts that down very, very quickly. And another just example, Cal would use him as like a quarter safety, or they would be running like cover 6, and he's to the deep half side. He's a deep half safety here to like the one receiver side, and then once Odunze works across, he knows there's nothing threatening him over here, so he doesn't just cover grass. He finds the number 3 working over the middle, and I love he's smooth in his pedal, staying square, good foot, good like body lean and balance. finds the number 3. So if this was thrown like over the middle, he is in a position to like break on this and make a play. So good work overall there from McMorris. I like him on the back end. He just seems to understand where to be on a consistent basis. And I do feel like, he probably would have been a higher pick if he was like a good athlete, because he is a fairly smart, versatile player. I just don't know if he has that required athleticism that you're looking for. But he does have some decent tape. Here he is going to, the rotating down with the motion, and he becomes the middle of the field player. Gets back here, sees that it's a run, then he's able to run the alley, make some open field tackles. I think I only saw him really miss one tackle, but it wasn't even that detrimental, as you'll see later in this video, in the 2 games that I watched. Here he is as a deep half safety. They're condensed, so he isn't as wide as you probably usually would see him, because he probably get out a little bit higher, but they're condensed to this 2 receiver side. Really only getting threatened by one guy. Maintain some good leverage here on him. Maintaining like slight outside. He opens up his hips just in case he works over. Then sees that he's working back across, and then it gets in his spot. So just good work overall there. They're kind of, playing in like a 3 invert where he almost becomes like a deep third type guy. But it ends up, playing with a similar look of how he would look as like a quarters or a deep half defender, where he's definitely more comfortable when he has to cover not just the middle of the field and look like the super rangy type. And then, yeah, just being like the last man defender, middle of the field again, making these tackles down the field. Those are areas where McMorris feels comfortable. Here he is as, a curl flat again. They're running play action. He comes down to get involved, sees that it's not happening, so then gets here on this running back. They're trying to hit this throwback. He maintains good leverage on multiple routes, so like he can take away this running back right here, but also come down and be involved as it gets thrown here. Now opens up his hips. See this as the quarterback's holding on to it. Now he sees the quarterback escape the pocket. His eyes are still there. Break off of it. No, you have help over the top, so you peel off the running back and then find potential guys down here. He takes away this guy who's coming open late, who ends up being Odunze, and he's just in the right spot at a lot of times, which is nice. And then just another example of him being responsible on his own read, potentially for the quarterback, but they hand it off, but the running back ends up bouncing it back this way, which, happens a lot, and he's just square, ready for it, makes a nice play at the line of scrimmage. Then McMorris stuff just shows up, and here it is again, as his own read. He's responsible for it. He's always in a good football position to transition downhill. I do think he has decent short area burst. Like, I feel like athletic-wise, that's where you get to see off the most of it, that burst. He ends up, not making the tackle. I mean, Caleb only gains like an extra couple yards because of it. But he ends up not making that tackle, but really steps up later because he comes down, fills in the box. It's a, designed QB run. He takes on the running back at the point of attack, so he can drop his shoulder to take on a block right there by still maintaining gap responsibility, peeling off of it, and then making the tackle. Good stuff. And then now he's in the middle of the field, where he's responsible for Caleb again. He sees, like, the offensive line's all flowing, but once he sees the tight end work this way, and that's going to be a running play, he gets out away instantly. So he's recognizing that this could be zone read with the quarterback going out to the side, which it is. And look how patient he is, man. Instead of like just overcommitting, trying to shoot downhill, Caleb's trying to cut this back. He's staying patient. He's still in the end zone, just staying square, kind of just tracking him, working through the trash. And then once he kind of commits, he comes down and at least, stops that from being a big gain. The patience is actually really, really crazy on McMorris. Same here. Like, Caleb's holding onto the ball. With Caleb, he's going to try to make a big play. He doesn't start working around. He maintains a healthy relationship so he can break on number 1, but he doesn't want to get too close because he does. People could leak him behind him and he gives up an open lane. So he just wants to, be in a spot where he can make a play on multiple different spots. Really, really impressed with McMorris there. And I do feel like he does a better job in these top-down relationships, where if things are breaking like in front of him over the middle, he can do a good job transitioning and I think closing on that. So yeah, his film was better than I was expecting. I'm not sure if I expect him to make like too much of like a crazy impact at the next level. I think if he can be a special teams guy and prove to be a solid special teams guy, I think he'll probably make the roster. It probably comes down to that. But then coming to his film, he did a lot of things pretty nicely. I think, usually like defensive staffs like guys who can be versatile, can play, those multiple different spots, but also are pretty intelligent and, play with a good toughness to them and just make plays multiple different ways. You can make it at the next level without being, a high level athlete. So we'll see if it ends up translating. But his film was pretty solid, I think, for a 6th rounder. Probably my least favorite pick of day 3 technically, but I'm not mad about it. It's just when it comes to the 6th round pick. So if you guys know the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.